This is the Detroit Sports Podcast Network.
What's up, Detroit sports fans? Welcome back to the Fan Reporter Show, made by fans for fans, powered by the Detroit Sports Podcast Network. I'm Nick, and my boy Andrew sitting right across from me is going to give us this week's topics.
Lions training camp is just around the corner, so it's time we started giving them some time in the limelight. We discuss everything from over-unders to man ratings, so sit back, relax, and get ready for another year of getting your hopes up just to have them shattered. It's Fan Report Lions Talk.
Wow, very pessimistic start. Jesus, man. You just got no faith. None whatsoever.
I don't like our schedule this year, I'll be honest with you.
I haven't glanced at her schedule in a minute, but I do remember going through going, yikes. Mm-hmm. I do recall that part. But still no faith at all? Like, you just hope, you're already saying hopes and dreams shattered? Like, you're not even going to give them anything?
I mean, it's like the constant cycle, like with Lions fans. Every offseason, you get your hopes up, like, we're finally going to be good this year. Like, I like our schedule. I like the squad we got. And then sometimes they start off strong, sometimes they don't. But at every point in the season, there is a point where they're like, oh my God, we're probably going to make the playoffs this year. And then, nope.
See, I'm going to disagree, because it's been a minute since we've had that, oh my God, they're going to make the playoffs this year. Because last year, pretty sure we started, what, 1-4?
Last year didn't happen. The year before it did.
Year before, I thought we started like 0-5.
Year before we made the playoffs. Didn't we?
I don't think so. I don't think we made the playoffs for a few years.
Wasn't that Caldwell's last year, the year before?
Oh, maybe it was. But I thought we were 8-8 that season.
I'll tell you right now.
Yeah, let me know when the last time we made the playoffs.
Sorry, it was 2016.
Yeah.
Not 2017.
Ha!
Sorry, January 2017 was when the appearance was.
But anyways, no, I kind of agree that the schedule is a little bit difficult. Mm-hmm. It's not one that lends itself to being that easy. I don't know. I feel like the Lions, didn't they kind of screw themselves in terms of scheduling last year?
We went 9-7 that last year with Caldwell and just barely missed the playoffs.
Told you. I'm pretty sure we started really poorly, if I recall. I could be wrong, but I thought we started really poorly and then picked it up.
Started 3-1 and lost 3 straight.
Okay, I stand corrected. But anyways, going through the regular season schedule here.
That was you remember we beat the Giants, and the Giants were supposed to be good, beat them in MetLife.
Yeah, and the Giants ended up winning like 2 games the whole season.
And then the next game against the Falcons, the only 2 undefeated teams left in the league, and then
yeah.
Not only 2, I think like 2 of like 4 or something.
Yeah.
2-0.
So where was I?
Yeah.
Oh, yes. So going through and talking about, we mentioned the Vegas over-under. I believe Vegas has the Lions at 6.5, if I recall. So 6.5 wins, and going through their schedule, I'll let you take this one away on whether or not you believe the Lions can hit that 6.5 over-under. Obviously, 6.5 just sounds kind of low.
It does. It does sound very. It does sound
considering
very low.
They're a team who won 6 games last year. Mm-hmm. They did lose some talent in the offseason, even mid-season last year. However, they did bring some in as well. A lot of people were not that happy with the Lions offseason in terms of their draft. A lot of the analysts in particular. Obviously, people around here are a lot happier with it than the analysts have been. Mm-hmm. But again, a lot of people around here like to drink the Kool-Aid. Oh, we can also talk about Golden Tate's comments today. Did you see that?
Yeah. We can talk about that.
We can talk about that too a little bit. Because I thought that was kind of interesting, and it spurred a very large debate on the ticket this afternoon. With one guy, I kind of felt bad for him, but he was kind of baptized. But anyways, I found it kind of interesting for Golden Tate to say that, considering he won a Super Bowl with another team. He had a quarterback who is year in and year out considered elite, and it isn't the guy he said was the best quarterback he ever played with. So I thought it was an interesting debate, and I feel like that would be a fun little tidbit of a topic to go through. But let's stick with the Vegas over and under first.
Yeah.
And going through the schedule here. Andrew, I'll let you take it away with this and tell me what you think the Lions will do and whether or not you're running to the sports book to make that bet on the over or the under here.
Yeah, you look at the schedule. I see a number of games that I think will be really, really tough to pull out. Starting in week 2 against the Chargers, albeit you're at home. Then you got the Chiefs in week 4.
I think the Eagles on the road is not going to be an easy
Eagles
game
won't be
either.
I'm trying to give them the benefit of the doubt here, man. I'm trying to be optimistic.
Okay, I'd give them the benefit of the doubt if it was at home.
Yeah.
Road Eagles, that's a loss for me.
And then week 6 you got road at Lambeau. Then you're home against the Vikings.
I'm more likely to give the road at Lambeau a win than the road at the Eagles.
Then you're home.
They've absolutely owned the Packers the last couple of years.
You're home against the Vikings.
That's a tough one.
That's a tough one. And then you have a bit of an easy stretch with the Giants. Hopefully the Raiders are still an easy team.
A 2-game stretch.
Yeah, and then you're at Chicago for a Chicago team that's set to be
Not
really
easy.
good this year. Dallas is probably going to be really good this year. You're at home against Dallas, and you're at Washington. That should be a win. But then again, home against Chicago, at Minnesota. I mean, it's tough to see the over on that.
It's tough to find a stretch of games in this season, in this schedule, where you look at and say, okay, there's a couple of games that they can string together.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's one stretch that I'm looking at with the Raiders and Giants that I can say, okay, maybe they can string those two together. Mm-hmm. There's the Buccaneers and on the road against Denver. Mm-hmm. Maybe they can string those together. But Denver's not that bad of a team either. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, there are 2 stretches where I can say, okay, maybe we can string a couple of games consecutively. But outside of that, I don't see many. Mm-hmm. I really don't. Yeah. I see a couple of consecutive losses in here.
I'm looking at like best case scenario 8-8, which doesn't give me much wiggle room on the over 6.5.
No, really doesn't. Just kind of going through at home or on the road against the Cardinals to open the season.
Didn't they do that 2 years ago?
The Cardinals seem to be a team that they, for some reason, seem to open with a lot or play really early in the season a lot. But looking at the Cardinals, rookie quarterback in his first game, when have we seen that before? Last year. When they threw 4 picks. Mm-hmm. Started so nicely with Quandre Diggs getting that pick 6. Just started so nicely, and then Sam Darnold proceeded to torch us as Matt Stafford couldn't figure out the Jets' vaunting defense or vaunted defense.
Oh, yeah, I was going to say, it's either daunting or vaunted. You got to pick one.
The Jets' vaunted defense. He couldn't figure that out and threw for 4 picks. But I will say this. I do think the Cardinals aren't that good of a team. Mm-hmm. No Patrick Peterson because of the suspension. So I do think they open the season with the win, although they really... I don't even think they've ever won on the road in Arizona. I don't think they ever have.
I am in no position to say that.
I know they hadn't as of a couple of years ago. How's that? So unless they've won in the last couple of years, I don't think they ever have. But then coming back and having your home opener be against the Chargers is absolutely brutal. I don't think you picked that one up. I think the Chargers actually make you look like a bitch.
They did this past season.
Okay, so they did beat Arizona on the road last year.
Yes, on the road.
So that was the first time they've ever won in Arizona.
It was in December.
So we're going on a hot streak to win 2 in a row. Wait, why are we playing in Arizona twice in 2 years? Why don't they come back to our place for once? Anyways.
We beat them when they were the Phoenix Cardinals in '93 in Phoenix.
Really?
Why would they change from Phoenix to the entire state? Why would that happen?
Must have been in their new stadium that I heard the stat then. Yeah. But on the road against Philly, I'm sorry, I got to say it's a loss. I don't believe the Lions will be that good early on. I think Philly's the better football team. You'll also have a healthy Carson Wentz. I think Philly's a better football team, and playing on the road in Philly makes it even that much harder. Mm-hmm. That's a loss for me. Back home against the Chiefs, that's a loss for me. On the road against Green Bay early in the season, healthy Rodgers.
You are coming off a bye week.
You are coming off your bye, which that really sucks that it's that early in the year. Yeah. I hate that. I hate byes that early. But on the road against the Pack, you're historically never been good at Lambeau. Yes, I know we've strung together some wins out there. I still consider that a loss. Every single year on the road against the Packers, I have to chalk it up to a loss.
Yeah.
I have to. So
it's tradition.
It is. It is. So I'm saying the Lions start their first 5 games 1-4, with the 1 win against the Cardinals and then 4 straight losses. And then you've got the Vikings at home. I'll give you the dub against the Vikings at home. I'll give you the
Really?
dub. Yes. At home, I think you got them. I do. So 2-4, home against Giants, dub. 3-4, on the road against the Raiders, dub. 4-4, you come right back, you get yourself back into it to make it 4-4, and then it all falls apart. Bears, loss on the road,
At
4-5.
Soldier Field.
Cowboys at home, loss. At the Redskins, loss.
Really?
I'm calling they do not win out in Washington. I don't know why. I just have a feeling. I just
rivalries. This is one of the worst teams.
the Lions are not a good road team. There's your reasoning. I wish okay, you know what? I'll be fair. Fine.
That's
win.
a makeup call for calling the Vikings wins. You're gonna call this one a loss.
No, I actually legitimately think they could beat the Vikings at home. I don't think the Vikings are that much better than you. I really don't. Kirk Cousins is not a better quarterback than Matthew Stafford. I really don't think so. You're in your home. You're in your home barn. You didn't travel a lot last week. You're coming off of going to Green Bay, so you were close to home. I think you're close enough to the Vikings that you can beat them in your barn.
Yeah.
I do. Bears at home. Did they beat the Bears at home last year? I don't think they did.
Last year, oh wait, no, sorry, that was the wrong team. Okay, I got to go back to the Lions schedule here. I started shifting schedules a little bit. Give me a minute.
Who the hell did you go to?
I went to the Packers because I was curious what our record was against what their record was last year because I couldn't remember.
Wasn't very good.
Yeah.
Any
Okay.
minute
All right, here you go. Ready?
Princess.
So, oh no, this is not even the right year. This is 2017.
Jesus, come on!
All right, here you go, 2018. So, you want to know if we beat the Bears on the road last year?
Yes,
That's a negative.
no, at home, not
That's
on the
a
road.
negative
At
Ghost
home.
Rider.
Negative.
On
We
both.
lost twice. Okay, Bears at home, loss. It's an L. It's an L.
Look,
On the road
relying on
against the
historical
Vikings.
data for that one, aren't you?
Yes, on the road against the Vikings, L. Home against the Bucks, dub.
Are you keeping count?
On the road against the
Set
Broncos,
loss now.
L. At home against Packers, dub. So, 1-4 to start the year. 4-4 coming right back. 4-5, 4-6, 5-6, 5-7, 5-8, 6-8. Dude, I'm right at 7. I'm right at 7-9.
So my ever pessimistic self, the Lions still getting one more win than you did. Best case scenario is what I said.
I'm right at 7-9, and that's with them getting a win in Washington that I don't entirely believe that they're getting. There's a couple of games that I gave them wins in here that I, honest to God, don't know what they're getting. Do you want to know what they are? I have more faith in them beating the Vikings at home than I do them beating Oakland on the road.
Oakland's a wild card, man. Mm-hmm. They're a wild card this year.
All depends on the play of Derek Carr.
Yeah.
And Lions really suck when they go out west. And I mean really suck when they go out west. Like, historically bad.
Speaking of sucking, do we have any primetime games? Oh, yeah, Packers at Lambeau.
There is a
There we
Packers
go.
primetime game,
We
and
historically suck in
that
primetime.
Week 16 against the Broncos is TBD. It's probably going to depend on on the records of each team come like Week 12.
I'm not too high on that being an important game.
No, I'm not either. I'm really not either. To be honest, I don't think either team is going to be in the playoff.
Long story short, you're not taking the over here.
I'm not confident enough.
Yeah.
No,
Exactly.
at best,
I think we both place the Lions record over 6 wins.
at best,
But
I give them 8-8.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. At best, 8-8.
But that's like them winning games that I really don't believe they will, that I have chalked up to losses, like beating Green Bay in Green Bay, or beating Philly in Philly, or beating Chicago in Chicago, or Minnesota in Minnesota, or Denver in Denver.
Yeah.
But then flipping it around, I think at worst they're an 11-loss team. They're a 5-11 team.
Yeah.
At worst.
At worst. Oh, no, they could. Yeah. Okay. So, but are you more confident in them winning 7 to 8 games than you are in them winning 5 or 6
7's
games?
where I have them at, but that's with 3 games where I just don't know that they can pull out. 3 road games that I don't know that they can pull out. Because one of those 3, I can almost bet you they lose.
I heard the dumbest question posed on local radio today.
What?
You can only pick one. Lions go 6-10 or 10-6.
6-10.
I'm like, who's picking the Lions?
That's literally the
right now?
easiest. Like that's literally the easiest bet you can make. Like if you had to bet right now, 10-6 or 6-10, dude, I'm running and taking the 6-10. This team mixed with their schedule, they're just not talented enough. I'm sorry, they're not.
It's like
I'd
if
love
I had
to
to
think
pick the
they
Pistons
are.
winning 40 games or 52 games, what would I pick? 40.
Duh. But you got to understand that Matthew Stafford's coming off of his worst season statistically ever when he's played all 16 games. First time he's thrown less than 4,200 yards in a 16-game season.
To his credit, the claim here is that he played with a broken back.
Yeah, that's how I feel about that.
For you listeners, the look on radio on Nick's face right now is the obvious look of a man who calls bull.
I'm not necessarily calling bull. I believe that he played with a broken back. However, dude straight up sucked last year. And we've seen quarterbacks play hurt. Aaron Rodgers played on one knee last year.
But would you admit that, like when we were watching, we were saying like how far off these throws are is very uncharacteristic of Stafford.
I do think it played a factor. I also think there were other factors involved as well. I think the offensive coordinator had a big role in that because the game planning was absolutely terrible.
Coaching staff.
The game planning was terrible.
Except for Jim Bob, the Coots.
And now who's gone? The game planning was terrible.
I
think
the offense to improve.
Not much. Reason being, it is very, very difficult to be successful in the first year under a new offense. And I mean very difficult. It's never easy. New terminology, new schemes, new routes, new play calling, new everything. And also, they're changing the mantra of the offense into much more of a ground and pound, which is very much relative to Darren Bevel's. Darrell Bevel or Darren Bevel? I can't remember.
I think it's Darrell Bevel.
Darrell Bevel very much into Darrell Bevel's system. Is much more of the ground and pound. So and they got the running backs. They brought in a running back that's going to fall in line with that. They've got two guys that can legitimately start in the NFL, and Kerryon Johnson and C.J. Anderson, that are going to be back there getting a lion's share of the opportunities on the offense. I really don't see the Lions airing it out 40 times a game unless they have to.
Yeah, I feel you.
So that is going to mute Stafford in itself, which is fine. I don't want to. If we had to see Stafford airing the ball out 35, 40 times a game, that means we're playing comeback football, and I don't want to have to be playing comeback football.
Yeah.
One, it's stressful. It's bad for my heart. Two, it was magical in the one season.
Spoken like a true 50-year-old.
I know. It was magical in the one season where we had 8 comeback victories, but that's not how you win football games. You can't play from behind every game and expect to win enough to make the playoffs. Maybe the Lions surprise us this year and are a better team than we think, because on paper they do have some talent. I just don't think that mixed in with the new coaching schemes and a head coach that I still don't know everybody believes in, and some new talent that you still got to mesh in there. I just don't think this is the year where we see everything come together and be cohesive.
I feel you.
I feel like this is a building year for them. Next year, no excuses. This year, I'll give them some excuses on the fact that there's a lot of new pieces that they're trying to put in here and build something with. There's gonna be some growing pains. I feel like next year's the year that we need to see all of this come together, or I'm starting to seriously look at Matt Patricia and Bob Quinn and whether or not I want them to have a future with this organization. But this year, I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. I'll give them the fact that I think this could be a building year.
I agree.
Where things need to start coming together cohesively. And I want to see flashes of good things. There's no question. If I don't see any flashes of good things, I'm concerned. But there are a lot of pieces that moved around this offseason that are having to come together rather quickly that it's just a little too much for me. So I again, at the over-under of 6.5, where I think the Lions will end up, honestly, is about the 7-win mark with a few games in there that I'm not overly confident in. I'll take the under.
If I told you in terms of strength of schedule, Lions were 20th, what would you say?
Based on win-loss record from last year?
Correct.
Honestly, I believe it. Because their cupcake games are really cupcake games.
True.
Because last year the Raiders were abysmal. Last year the Buccaneers were abysmal. Last year the Broncos were not good. Last year, the Packers were not very good either.
If I told you our win-loss record...
The Vikings' record wasn't that great.
If I told you our opponent win-loss record is below 500, would you believe me?
Yes, absolutely. I absolutely would, because a lot of their...
Do you expect this to change?
Yes. A lot of their cupcake games, like the Cardinals, the Raiders, the Bucks, are teams that lost like 10 to 12 games each. Mm-hmm. So, and that's gonna skew it a little bit. You got to remember that. There weren't too many. I mean, the teams that they played that are around 7-9, 8-8, 9-7 are the teams in your division outside of the Bears.
Yeah.
They didn't really have many outside of the Chiefs and the Bears. Those are the only teams, and the Giants are also one of those teams that were terrible. The Chiefs, the Bears, that's it. Were the only teams that were very much in the positive in terms of win-loss record.
Yeah.
So when you only have two teams on your schedule and very much in the positive, you probably didn't exactly, you don't exactly have that tough of a schedule. But on paper, it's not that tough. But knowing what these teams are, and the Chargers as well, knowing what these teams are, they're better than what their records were last year. The Eagles are a better team than what their record was last year. The Cowboys are a better team than what they were last year.
All right, last question.
Yes.
Where do we finish in the division?
I can realistically see this team finishing last.
Me too.
I can realistically see this team finishing third. I don't see much better than that.
Yeah. If I had a place, I'd place it last. I'll be honest.
I would honestly as well. I think every team in your division is better than you.
Yeah.
I think Aaron Rodgers is better than you in the Packers. Mm-hmm. I think they're actually a team that's building quite nicely on the defense side of the ball and also has quite a bit of talent on the offense side of the ball. I think it'll be interesting with the new coaching situation there. Mm-hmm. I think that'll be very interesting. I'm curious to see how that works. I think the Vikings are better than you. I actually think they're better than they were last year. I think that was a situation of new quarterback in a new system. You're under a second year of that now. I think there's going to be much improvement there.
Yeah.
And the Bears are no question better than you. Will say this, though. I think the Bears take a step back this year. I don't think their defense will be as good as it was last year. Much like I said the same about the Jaguars 2 years or last year. Going into the season, I told you, Jaguars will not be anywhere near as good as they were the year prior. Has everything to do with their defense. Their defense 2 years ago was very, very reliant on turnovers. And turnovers are in a lot of ways, luck.
I will say the Bears offense is probably going to be better than the Jags offense was. The Jags offense was
Yes, I'll agree with you there. But looking at the Bears offense, it's not that great. I mean, they Mitch Trubisky ain't exactly turning many heads, okay? And Tariq Cohen is a guy who can do something, but how long does that? How sustainable is that? Dude's 5'6". How sustainable is a 5'6" running
generous.
back? It is generous, but how sustainable is a 5'6" running back? Let's be honest. And then at wide receiver, what do they have? A couple of young guys with potential, and a guy coming off an ACL tear. Not a lot there. Let's be real.
What was that rook's name last year that they got?
Cody White? No.
No. Kevin White. No, he was
Kevin White.
No. It was Anthony something or another.
Anthony Miller.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's not exactly turning heads either.
I know, but I do think he could be some. But
what, a low-end wide receiver 2 in fantasy leagues?
I'm not going to bet anything big.
A wide receiver 3 in fantasy leagues? That ain't anything to turn heads about. Come on. But, let's be real. The Bears' offense lacks talent.
Anyway, before we have some fun with the Madden ratings, let's quickly touch on these Golden Tate comments. So, Golden Tate, who was the interview with, by the way?
It was, I think, a publication of some sort because it was a video. Mm-hmm. It was golf-related. He talked about how he was playing over in Ireland and over in the UK. It looks like a little bit of like a teaser leading into the Open Championship coming up.
It was actually WDIP.
Oh, okay.
But he said that Matthew Stafford's the best quarterback he's played with. Now,
very divisive comments considering who he's played with, and Carson Wentz and Russell Wilson as well.
My first question I have, and I think this is the most glaring question, considering it was a local news, do you think he was pandering a little bit?
Oh, 100%. I, no question, think he was pandering a little bit because of it being a local interview. I would guarantee he was pandering. He's not going to go to... I guarantee he will. Let's just say he wouldn't do the same interview in Seattle or Philly. He wouldn't have the same answer in Seattle or Philly. I just think he wouldn't even do that interview in Seattle or Philly. Do I think he may truly believe Stafford's best quarterback he's ever played with? Yes, I do. Stafford juiced up his numbers. Russell, when Golden Tate was in Seattle, they didn't throw the ball 40 times a game. And he left because they didn't throw the ball enough. And he played with some guys who arguably deserve more of the targets, and Doug Baldwin and Jermaine Kurz and guys like that. And then he comes here, and he's a very obvious number 2 to Calvin Johnson in a team that threw the ball 40 to 50 times a game.
Yeah.
I mean, we threw the hell out of the ball.
And one hell of a number 2 at that.
Yeah. Well, he's the second or third. He's a good second or third option on a good NFL team.
Yeah. But I'm saying for us, he was a hell of a number 2.
Yeah, but we threw the ball 40 times a game.
Yeah.
I mean, anytime you throw the ball 40 times a game, your receivers better have 1,000 yards receiving. If they don't, I don't know who the hell you're throwing the ball to.
Running back, tight end.
Sure, because we've had so much success with those
cornerback,
guys.
the safety.
Yeah, on the other team. All I'm saying is Stafford made him look better than he truly was. I love Golden Tate. I think he was a fantastic player for us. I think he's a good receiver. I think Matthew Stafford made him look better than he was, especially on paper at the end of the year when his numbers showed that he had 1,100 yards or 1,000 yards. I don't think on another team that didn't throw the ball as much, I don't think his numbers are that inflated. I mean, we call Matthew Stafford Stat Padford as a joke, right? Who's he padding his stats with? Calvin and Golden Tate and Marvin Jones. So if we're going to call him Stat Padford, doesn't that kind of by default say that Golden Tate's stats were a little bit padded? By default?
You could argue that.
Could argue it. It's obvious. It's obvious. So, yeah, I do truly believe that Golden Tate thinks Matthew Stafford is the best quarterback he's ever played with. Mm-hmm. There was a guy who on today's local radio station, on the ticket, who compared it really, like, honestly, it was a really good comparison. He said, I don't remember the guy's name, but he said, it's almost like a shooting guard out there who would more likely say the best point guard he ever played with is a guy who is much more of a distributor than a ball-dominant point guard. Yeah. Like, a guy would argue that John Stockton is a better point guard than Kyrie Irving. Why? Because he distributes the ball more. He boosts your numbers.
I mean, I don't think that's a bad argument.
I know, but you get my point.
You're talking about more like Derek Fisher to Kyrie Irving. Is that what you're...
Sure. Derek Fisher wasn't as good of a distributor, though. I'm talking like a good distributor.
He was more just a general floor general.
Yeah, I'm talking a good distributing point guard. Like a Jeff Teague. How's that? Or, sure. Like, you could argue that that's why they would say...
Rondo.
Sure. That's actually not a bad one. But you could argue that that's why they would say that he is a better point guard than the other guy. Than a more ball-dominant guy. Because he boosts your numbers. He makes you look better. And that's kind of what I feel like is the situation here with Golden Tate, is he may be one of the only guys in the world that thinks Matthew Stafford's the best quarterback that he's ever played with. Mm-hmm. And that's why. Because he made him look good. Golden Tate has statistically his best years here in Detroit. There's no question about that. But we also threw him the ball a lot. A lot.
But, like, the reasons he gave, it wasn't just... I mean, I do agree with what you're saying. Don't get me wrong.
Oh, I really don't think he's going to admit to that.
No, but he didn't mention, like, his toughness and his attitude.
Okay, that's all fine and dandy. But how does that factor on paper in terms of whether or not you're a good quarterback?
No, but let me finish what I'm saying. So do you see Matthew Stafford as a quarterback that you could say is a tougher quarterback than, say, Russell Wilson?
No, I don't. Russell Wilson's, like, never missed a game. I don't.
Russell Wilson throw a touchdown pass and a broken collarbone?
Who gives a fuck? He's won a Super Bowl.
Every time.
Okay, that was warranted. That was warranted.
God, we can't have a clean show on this show.
Honestly, who cares? He's won a Super Bowl. He's been to multiple. I'm sorry. Honest to God. Who really believes this is true? Besides Golden Tate.
I didn't say I believe it.
Okay, but no, I can't say that toughness has any bearing on how good a guy is. Who gives a shit?
I was just saying, do you at least buy what Golden Tate's saying in the fact that...
No, I don't.
Okay.
Why? Who would buy that? That toughness makes you a good quarterback.
Toughness makes you a good quarterback. that is tough.
Okay, how about this?
Comparable to Russell Wilson.
I'll tell you
Russell
this:
Wilson is known
Matthew Stafford is a tougher quarterback than Aaron Rodgers. Is Matthew Stafford a better quarterback than Aaron Rodgers?
I wasn't talking about better. I was just talking about. Do you think because Russell Wilson is one of the tougher quarterbacks in the league?
Yeah, he is.
Dude
takes more hits than anyone.
Do you view Stafford's toughness as comparable to Russell Wilson? That's all I'm asking you. I'm not asking about,
comparable. Yeah, comparable. That doesn't make him better.
I'm not asking about better. I said I agree with you on the whole better thing.
It's a bad argument.
I was trying to pivot the argument.
It's a bad argument on Golden Tate's part. Why would you cite toughness for Matthew Stafford when you look at Russell Wilson, who's equally as tough? Except when he's tough, he wins ball games. Stafford doesn't. I'm sorry. I love Matthew Stafford. He's the best quarterback in Lions history. Outside of maybe Bobby Lane, who I wasn't even a fucking twinkle in my parents' eye.
Another one.
I'm sorry. I'm angry. I wasn't even. My dad was born when the Lions last won their championship. My dad was a baby when Bobby Lane was here. Or actually was born when Bobby Lane was here.
Jesus. Well, throw the explicit tag up.
Yeah, may as well.
Anyway, let's just have some fun now. I'm gonna calm you down a little bit. Let's talk about Madden. Something that doesn't really matter.
I love heaven. I love yelling. You know me. I love yelling. I when it comes to my Detroit sports, I'll get all riled up, and I love it.
Let's stick on the topic of Matthew Stafford here. Madden ratings got released, and by ratings I mean the ratings for every single player. Matthew Stafford is the 20th ranked quarterback. Quarterbacks ranked above Stafford. Well, first of all, he's at a 79.
Yes.
Quarterbacks ranked above Stafford include Marcus Mariota, Andy Dalton, Derek Carr.
Mariota's 79.
Yeah, but these ranked above him, like they all come out to 79. But when you take out when you actually take the minute rankings, he's slightly above him.
Sure, whatever. He's the 79. That's all I'm looking
Mariota's
at.
79, and then but then you got at 80 Andy Dalton, Derek Carr ranked above him.
Okay, I'll give you this. He should be an 82. That's it. I will not go higher than that. He is.
So you put him above Kirk Cousins, Dak Prescott?
I think Kirk Cousins is too low, and I think I would put Kirk Cousins at an 82. I'd put Dak Prescott an 82 or an 83.
I can't really disagree because you put him at an 82. He's still below.
Because he's better than Derek Carr, he's better than Andy Dalton, he's better than Mariota, and he's better than Jameis Winston. He's worse than Matt Ryan.
He becomes to the same rating as Deshaun Watson, Carson Wentz. However, he's still below Mayfield, Goff, Newton, Roethlisberger, Ryan.
I
Rodgers,
think that
Wilson,
I think the
Brees.
fact that Baker Mayfield is higher than Carson Wentz is a joke. Is an absolute joke. Baker Mayfield should be an 82.
He's an 83.
He should be an 81 or 82. Carson Wentz should be an 84, 85. Dak should be an 82, 83. The only problem
You think
with
Deshaun
Dak...
Watson being 82 is pretty low? No.
Dude's pick crazy.
He is.
He's picked crazy. And I also think the fact that he plays with the best receiver in football helps him out just a little bit. Just a little bit. He's an exciting player, and he had an incredible run in his rookie year. But you know what I've noticed is
Is Pat Mahomes being number one justified or too soon?
No, too soon. I'm sorry. I understand Pat Mahomes is an incredibly talented and gifted quarterback. I need to see it for more than 1 year before I can really, really full on believe in Pat Mahomes. You can call me a hater all you want. You can call me a guy who, doesn't believe in him all you want. I believe in the guy, but I think it's too early to be all aboard this choo-choo train. He very good quarterback.
2 more questions for you.
Here's okay. Okay. Keep going with the questions, and then give me the ratings of the top 10 guys. I will order them myself and give you the ratings myself.
Okay. My other 2 questions are: do you think the 79 for Stafford is a direct result of the down year you had last year?
Does Grizzly Adams have a beard? I mean, I think that's obvious.
Okay. And then that being said, do you think that rating goes up this year?
Yes, and I think it hovers around 82 for much of the season. I think it doesn't take very long before it changes either.
Okay.
I think he'll be right around an 82 for most of the year where he should be. I think Carson Wentz moves up to about an 84. I think Dak moves up to about an 82, 83. One thing I've noticed about the ratings that they've given is the quarterbacks that are often injured, they slide it on rankings. Yeah. The guys like Carson Wentz, Deshaun Watson.
Their strength rating goes down.
I don't think that's a factor. I don't think that's a factor in their strength rating. I think that's a factor in their injury rating.
Doesn't lower strength rating in Madden cause?
No. Lower injury rating causes your lower injury rating causes the injuries.
Injury rating. Still a rating.
It is. It is a rating, but it's not your strength rating. Ability to truck somebody over would be your strength rating, or push or stiff arm or something like that. Did you see Kerryon Johnson's stiff arm?
Which Stafford is at 91 right now.
For what?
Injury.
For injury? Oh, yeah. He's played all 16 games for the last 6 years. I mean, there's no question about that. Dude's tough as nails. Did you see Kerryon Johnson's stiff arm rating, by the way?
No.
92? 91 or 92? That's what it should be.
But
But going through the lines, but anyways, I'll give you my quarterback ratings of the top 10.
Yeah,
How's that?
Make it quick.
Okay. What?
So make it quick.
Okay. Give me the guys.
I got Mahomes
at 97.
at 97.
Too high. Should be 94.
Brady at 96.
Fine.
Philip Rivers at 94.
Little high, 93.
I don't mind him at 94. Drew Brees 92.
Should be 93.
Andrew Luck 92.
Perfect.
So that is your top 5. Going
Okay.
through 6 through 10. Russell Wilson 91.
Fine.
Aaron Rodgers 90.
Too low. Should be 95.
Matt Ryan 89.
Fine.
Ben Roethlisberger 85.
Fine.
Cam Newton 84.
Too high. Should be 83.
So is
you
everyone-
know what? Fine. I'll leave him at 84.
So you're
We're going to see something with Cam Newton
The
this year
five
that's going to
just-
be very discouraging, and it's the fact that his shoulder is completely fallen apart. Dude's had like 4 shoulder surgeries. He may not be able to throw the football anymore. Like he's had
point.
far too many shoulder injuries and surgeries for it to keep up, and he takes too many hits. I am sincerely worried about his long-term ability at the quarterback position.
Let's get to the Lions. We have one player that's in the 90s, and we only have 6 in the 80s. Our one player in the 90s is Snacks.
Snacks, I agree with
95.
it. 95 is perfect rating.
Your 6 that are in the 80s. Darius Slay, Trey Flowers, Marvin Jones, Kenny Galladay, Danny Amendola, and Kerryon Johnson.
Okay.
Oh, sorry. 7, C.J. Anderson.
Okay. Darius Slay's rating, I'm perfectly fine with.
Okay.
89 is perfectly fine. I think in Detroit, we overvalue him slightly. Because in the national media and with national analysts, nobody values him anywhere near the way that we do. So I'm going to say 89 is perfectly fine. Next.
87 for Trey Flowers.
Fine.
I do feel like that might go down.
I don't.
I'm afraid of the system change. But anyway, Marvin Jones.
It's the same system that he played in
well,
New England.
I shouldn't say system change, but just like...
I know. I think the Lions pass rush is actually halfway decent.
For Belichick.
He's playing for Patricia, though. I think he's perfectly fine. I think he'll still get his 7 or 8 sacks.
Marvin Jones, 86.
Too high. I think he should be an 84.
Kenny Galladay, 83.
Even. I think, actually, honestly,
You'd
I'd
switch
flip-flop
Kenny Galladay.
KG and Marvin
Yeah.
Jones. I'd
Danny
flip-flop the
Amendola,
two.
81.
Too high, 79.
I agree. Kerryon Johnson, 81.
82.
I think 81's fine, but 82 is fine too. C.J. Anderson, 80.
Fine.
Deshaun, oh, yeah, that's all your 80s. I don't know if you want to get in the 70s, but
There are some guys I'd like to mention in the 70s.
who
Yeah.
would you like to?
Go through the list of the guys in the 70s.
Deshaun Hand, Frank Ragnow, Stafford, Jesse James
Frank Ragnow should be at least 80. Jesse James is fine.
at 78. Now, Jesse James, 1 point higher than T.J. Hawkinson.
It's fine.
I would hope Hawkinson surpasses Jesse James and Van Reed this season.
Doesn't really bother me.
How
either
many
way.
years do you give T.J. Hawkinson to make the Pro Bowl before you say he's a bust? I say 2, considering how high you picked.
Honestly, you want to know my true feelings about it? I don't give a shit. I think it was a wasted pick either
You're
way.
over it.
I think it's a no. I think it's a wasted pick either way.
Yeah.
I don't believe tight ends win you ball games. Yeah. Tight ends are a very useful tool to have, but at best, they're your second option. At best, and I don't think that we're in a situation where we're needing a tight end to be our second option. I think the one lone exception was Gronkowski, but you're talking about a player that transcends the position. I don't think Kelsey transcends the position. I think he's their second option. Tyreek Hill's the number 1, in my opinion.
Do you think Jared Davis at 72 is too low?
Slightly. I think he should be 75.
Okay. Devon Kennard at 74.
That's too low. He should be 78, 79. Quandre Diggs is too low also. I know that one. I think he should be at least an 80.
Yeah, Quandre's at 77.
Yeah, I'd bump him up to an 80.
Okay. That's all I have. Sam Martin, punter, 75.
It's fine.
That's about all I have for man ratings. They're at least interesting.
What's Prater's rating?
Prater is a 78.
It's fine. We got to be realistic here in Detroit, okay? Our team is not that good. We were not a winning football team
don't
last
have
year.
major issues with
we
the Ravens.
didn't have a lot of talent last year. I know people are all up in arms about the rankings. I really don't think the Lions are that much better than what the Madden rankings are. Is Matthew Stafford better than a 79? Yeah, slightly. I think he's, based on what they gave some of the other guys, I think he should be an 81, 82. Is Devon Kennard better than his ranking? Yeah, I do think so. Is Quandre Diggs a little bit better than his? Yeah, I think so. Is Kenny Galladay a little bit better than his? Yeah, I'd flip-flop him and Marvin Jones. There's a couple of guys I would say, like Frank Ragnow, I think deserves to be at least 80. I think there's a couple guys in there.
I have one fun question for you.
I do think there's some guys that were slighted and some guys that I think were fair.
I have one fun question for you to close out the show. Can you name the Lions' lowest rated player? I'll give you a hint. He's not on the team.
Not on the team?
He already got cut.
Well, then what? No.
But you know who he is.
Not a clue.
I'll give you another hint. He went to Michigan State.
Malik McDowell?
No.
I was going to say, I didn't think he was on the team. It's not Burbridge, is it?
No. I'll give you another hint. He was drafted by the Raiders.
Deion Sims?
No.
Oh, he was Titans, wasn't he?
Dolphins.
Oh, no, I thought he played for the Titans first.
I don't think so.
I might be thinking of Mike Martin.
You are thinking of Mike Martin. But I'll give you one last hint. His first and last name start with the same letter.
Connor Cook.
51.
So who is it now?
Andrew Donald, right tackle.
Okay.
Don't know who that is. Anyway.
He was drafted by Miami.
That
he played for Tennessee, actually.
Is the podcast for today. For this week.
I don't know. I really just don't have too much else to add, I guess. I wasn't as up in arms. I know I looked on Twitter. There was a lot of Lions fans that were all up in arms. Even some of the players were all up in arms. I really wasn't all that. I didn't get that excited about it. Yes, there were some guys that were slighted.
Yeah.
Yes, there were. There's no question about it.
I'm also not that up in arms because it's Madden ratings. Who really cares?
Madden is also one of those games that notoriously is pretty harsh in the ratings.
Very harsh in the ratings.
They don't really like to give. I mean, the fact that there's only a few 99s, and honestly, I think that some of those guys really shouldn't be 99s. I don't
Who
think
is outside of Aaron Donald and Tom Brady?
Aaron Donald, Khalil Mack,
Tom
Bobby
Brady's
Wagner.
99, sorry.
Aaron Donald, Khalil Mack, Bobby Wagner, and DeAndre Hopkins are your 499s.
Okay.
I think Hop should not be a 99. I think he should be 98. Khalil Mack should be a 98. Aaron Donald, in my opinion, should be the only 99.
Okay.
I think Khalil Mack should be at 98. I think Bobby Wagner should be a 97. I think Kuechly should be a 97. I think Khalil Mack should be a 97 or 98. I think Hop should be a 98. I think Donald should be the only true 99. Because let's be honest, he's really the only guy that continues to dominate the defense side of the football. There's nobody.
Khalil Mack too.
I don't think. No, I don't. He did it for. He dominated last year. I don't really ever have considered Khalil Mack.
Basically, what these ratings are from last year.
I mean, it's a year-over-year thing, too. I think the fact that Aaron Donald has had year-over-year dominance at the position, dominance on the defense side of the football, tells you that he is the continuous. He should be the only 99 in that respect. I think to be a 99, it's an earned thing year-over-year, and I think he's the only guy that's done that. Yeah. I really do believe that.
All right. Anyway, that's the podcast for today. Remember, we do go live on Twitch every Monday and Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern.
It's a slow time in sports.
It is.
The fact that we're talking Madden rankings really kind of tells you that.
Normally wouldn't. But yeah, www.twitch.tv/thefanreport. You can see us on camera instead of just listening to us in your ears.
Is that necessarily a good thing? I know that we're kind of pretty, but we're not that pretty.
We're supermodel pretty.
Okay, fair enough. All right.
Hey, find out if I'm bluffing or not. Log in to www.twitch.tv/thefanreport. Find out if I'm bluffing.
Find out if we're supermodel pretty. Oh, man. Anyways, though, follow us on Twitter at RealFanReport. We thank you guys for listening. Catch us next week as well. Anything else to add?
No.
No? All right. Thanks to the Detroit Sports Podcast for enabling us to do what we like to do. And continuing to be awesome.
And honestly, if you guys have any topic suggestions for the dog days of summer, shoot them our way on our Twitter.
I say we talk about food. I like talking about food.
We're gonna be coming up with some food movie topics here shortly.
It's gonna have to.
Yeah,
gonna have to.
Or maybe movies based about food.
Like what?
Chef.
All right. Anyways, though, guys, thank you again for listening. We'll catch you next week. This has been the Fan Reporters. Bye, fans.
For fans.
Have a good one, guys. Peace out.
Peace.